And I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I first plugged it in, I ran into some issues. Maybe they sent me a faulty one. So, yeah, ICECO sent me a fridge. And I think it might be bigger than my entire living room. I did ask for an upgrade to the original one they offered because I love food, good food, real food, and they surely delivered on that request. When they said dual zone, I didn't realize they meant real estate zones. Either I've been sent a portable fridge or IceCode just challenged me to a full-on game of van life Tetris. It fits, technically. Walking space is a luxury anyways, right? So, let's open these boxes and see what we've got here. One thing's for sure. This is not just a cooler. This is a statement piece. I plan to put the full manufacturer specs in the description below, but let's do some visual measurements here. It's about 15.5 inches tall, 25.5 inches wide, and about 13 inches deep, or front to back. And then that just kind of gives you a visual. Now, the clasps here, or door locks, whatever you want to call them, the things that keep the lid shut, they're very nice, very sturdy. The inside is aluminum lined, and this is straight out of the shipping box. It felt cold the first time I opened it, so I can already tell that this is going to hold temperature quite well. It also has a drain plug, a manual inside of there, all of the handy dandy stickers on the inside of the lid. For the measurements on the inside, the freezer side is about 6 inches deep, 9 3/4 inches front to back, and about 7.5 inches across. Over here to the fridge side, you've got around 11.5 inches deep, just under the black line there. And of course, it's going to be the same front to back, and about 13 3/4 inches across. But mind you, you can use either side for a fridge or a freezer, both for fridge, both for freezer. It's really up to you. The lid doesn't slam shut. I don't know what this is called, but it just, yeah, it stays open in whatever position you move it. So that's pretty fantastic. You don't have to hold it open, and it's not going to slam on your fingers or your head. And as you can see, it's got nice screws, nice hardware. It's very sturdy, which is very important when you're camping or doing van life. The handles on the side are, I guess, spring loaded. Guys, I don't know the specifics, all right? I'm just explaining this to the best of my abilities. They look very sturdy and durable. You've got a screen over here, a USB port, and of course your power plug. And they have nice little covers on them, like the charger port on your phone. That way, hopefully, they don't get dust or dirt in them. ICECO was nice enough to toss in an added bonus for me here. This is the companion battery that goes with this fridge, or any of their fridges. It is magnetic, it is portable, and it will run your fridge here in case you don't have access to shore power. Maybe your solar power is running low, or you need a little help overnight or during bad weather. So we will be reviewing that as well. I'm very excited to have that. And so it just sticks right here on the front. And see that? That is pretty awesome. I am excited to try this out. This new fridge was a surprise, so I've already custom built a spot for my old fridge. I pulled it out. I wanted to see if this one would fit, and I could cram it in there, but no, I'm not going to cram my brand new fridge in a spot and mess it up. But you can see it's just a tiny little bit from fitting. So I guess this guy is going to have a new home, and I'll just use all of the underbed storage for storage. I can put lots of other stuff in there, and for now he's going to ride in the trunk, which works perfectly. The compressor is quite low. Have a listen for yourself. It is very quiet, and now I'm just plugging it into my solar, and the compressor, when it's running, it varies between 30 and 40 watts. That's not very much. So we're just going to bring this thing to temperature, test it out, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. Okay, so I haven't packed this fridge and freezer full of food just yet. This video is more of a first impressions basic overview. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I first plugged it in, I ran into some issues, which were probably mostly user error because, yeah, we were getting to know each other. We were learning each other. And the problem I had is that I could not get the freezer side to go down to 0. I couldn't get it below 10. I could get the fridge to the temperature I wanted, which was 35, but the freezer I couldn't get to go below 10. And when the freezer would try to get colder, the fridge would get hotter. And I don't know the technical issues there, but my brain said, let's just set them both to 0. Not set. Let's set them both to 0. And let's just see if they can get to 0. Maybe they sent me a faulty one. But, yeah, I set them both to 0. They both went to 0. No issue. And then from there, I turned my fridge up to 35 and it worked perfectly. So maybe setting them both to 0 was like a reset. Maybe in shipping, things got confused in there. I don't know. And like I said, probably user error. But I have turned it completely off overnight, let it get warm again, turned it back on, and they go to the correct temperatures. I don't have to set them both to 0 anymore. It was just that one time, and it's like it resets something. I don't know. But it works great now. Every time I turn it on, it goes to 35 and 0. So no issues with that anymore. And I tell you this in case you run into this issue. You can't get the temperatures right and they're fluctuating constantly. Set both sides to 0 and go from there. It's like a reset. I don't know. So let's talk about the companion portable battery that they sent. These two items don't come together. You have to order them separately. But I highly recommend having the companion battery, because what that means is if you say you don't have perfect weather for solar, you can keep your food at the correct temperature for a few hours until the sun comes back, or you can get somewhere where you can plug into shore power, because you don't want to fill this thing up with food and then a thunderstorm come and all your food ruins. Okay, so I highly recommend this. Yeah. Or say you want to go fishing. All right. Maybe you can't drive your van down to the actual fishing spot, but you want to have snackies. All right. The battery. The battery works perfect. You don't want to walk back and forth 2 miles wherever your fishing spot might be. You probably don't want to carry this for 2 miles either. So that's a little exaggeration, but it would be nice to be sitting on the lake and just have your fridge and all of the food you have. You know, that would be great. Fishing with an ice cream cone. Okay, that's the kind of goals I have in my life. So yeah, for many reasons, having the companion battery that goes with this fridge is fantastic. Now, like I said, I have been testing this empty for about 2 weeks. Now, on the paperwork, it says that this battery should last about 11 hours. But what I have found is it lasts about 8 hours. Again, that's with the fridge empty. When the fridge and freezer is full of food, the cold food will help keep the fridge to temperature. Therefore, the compressor won't come on as much. Therefore, your battery won't die as quickly. So on empty, I tested it on max power, and it was about 8 hours. And on empty, I tested it on eco power, 8 hours again. So there was no difference there with the empty. Now, I will be testing this in real life use, full of food, for about 2 weeks, and then we'll do those tests again. And I know that most people do it all in one video, but I like to take my time and thoroughly test every scenario with a product if I have to give a product review. So it's been 2 weeks testing it empty. Maybe you can't afford a lot of groceries and you just have 3 or 4 items in there. That's basically going to give you the results as if it was empty. All right. So you want those 3 or 4 items to stay cold as well. So I feel it's necessary to test it empty and to test it full. So that's what I did. All right. So this is what it is for this video. 8 hours on empty are very low in food. All right. Because food's expensive now. Who knows if we can fill it up all the time. Something I forgot to mention, when you go to switch to using the portable battery, make sure that your fridge is already to temperature, okay? On shore power or your solar power, get it cold first, because you don't want to waste a lot of battery time, battery power, bringing this to temperature. Now, it doesn't take very long, but once this thing gets to temperature, it holds temperature quite a while. And so the compressor is not going to come on if it's at temperature. But as soon as it drops a degree, the compressor is going to come on, therefore using some of your battery. So make sure it's to temperature first, just to, spare your battery. Okay, so yeah, that is my final thoughts on my first impressions of this product. I am very excited. I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy cooking with real foods, fresh foods, fresh meats, fresh produce. So having something like this is essential. And my previous unit wasn't dual zone, and it was super cheap. It was plastic lined, and it just wasn't very efficient. So having this ICECO dual zone, 2 temperatures, and the portable companion battery, it's going to make eating in van life, in the woods, upscale, okay? And so I'm very pleased with it so far. And if it works this good on empty, I can just imagine it's going to be even better when it's full of food. So stay tuned. And in a couple of weeks, because I like to test it thoroughly, in a couple of weeks, I will have another video showing you packed with food and showing you how you can use it in different ways and how much better it's going to make your life on the road or in the forest. So yeah, until next time, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and you will have links to view the website and all the different sizes they have to offer in the description below. I did get one of the bigger ones. They have smaller ones. You don't have to get one this big. But like I said, I'm a foodie. I like to eat. I wanted a big one. So, and they have even bigger ones, but I don't have a big enough van for a bigger one. But for me, for one person, for two people, heck, even three people, this size, the 35 quart, 37 quart would be great. I keep saying 35 because it's called the APL35, but technically it's a 37 quart, or what have you. I'll put all of the details in the description box below. I can't remember everything off the top of my head, but I will put all of the accurate specs in the description box along with the link. That's it. Have a great day.